Wake up, Washington Commanders Nation. It's the first of the month, and our trip to Cancun should be over by now. It's time to get into the nitty gritty of the Washington Commanders off season. And to start that off, Washington's coaching staff may be the hottest commodity in the entire NFL right now. Let's talk about it. We're about a full calendar week away from Washington's devastating loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's time to turn that page to the 2025 NFL offseason. And we're trying to see just who's going to be remaining when we do so, because everybody wants a piece of the Washington Commanders coaching staff. A coaching staff with guys like Brian Johnson, who had got fired as the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He comes in as the passing game coordinator and assistant head coach. All of a sudden, his reputation is looking pristine again just a year after. Cliff Kingsbury, who nobody wanted to let back in the league, and everybody has an opinion about, has come in and already shifted the narrative surrounding his name. There are guys on both sides of the ball getting looks, and everybody wants a piece of anyone who shared a room with Jayden Daniels after the phenomenal, greatest rookie quarterback season we've ever seen in NFL history. Everybody wants a piece of it. Brian Johnson just interviewed for the Texans offensive coordinator job. Quarterback coach Tavita Pritchard interviewed for the Jags offensive coordinator position. David Blau, assistant quarterback coach and former NFL quarterback, he's interviewing for promotions as well on that side. I believe Anthony Lynn garnered some interest. Tommy Donatel, the defensive backs coach, garnered some interest. We just lost Coach Glenn to the Raiders. You know, our assistant special teams coach, he's now the linebackers coach for the Las Vegas Raider. Cliff had interviews, turned him down. He's coming back. Joe Witt Jr. interviewed for head coaching jobs as well. So look how fast things change, y'all. Look how fast things change. In the last regime, the only real interesting character that people wanted to hear from was Chris Harris Jr. Nobody was knocking the door down for any of Washington's assistants over the past regime. It wasn't the case. It's funny how fast things change, though. Washington comes in, hires Dan Quinn, who a lot of us, including myself, were not familiar with his game and his gravity and the reverence he holds throughout the league. I didn't know how his name reverberated through league circles. Now I do, because he put together one hell of a staff, because that staff whipped this ragtag bunch together, and led by Jayden Daniels, these boys were 60 minutes away from a Super Bowl appearance in the first year of construction. Imagine year one of a startup, like you buy a business and in year one it soars and its publicly shared stocks is up there with the best of them immediately before you have the required or necessary tools and ingredients to get it there. That's the story of the 2024 Washington Commanders. That's the story of the 2024 Washington Commanders. And this is interesting because this comes with the territory. Lance Newmark was getting interviewed. People are going to pluck from our front office and our coaching staff. This is when we're going to find out just how good Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are at their job, because this comes with the territory, baby. We're going to lose some people. We're not going to be able to stash and hide these people from the world for too long. You know, we can't hide the world from these people or these people from the world. Word to Drake. But we're going to find out how good these guys are at their job, because a good team always has a succession plan. Always has a succession plan. Someone has to be waiting in the wings. The interesting part here is that all the succession plans, if Cliff were to leave, they're getting interviews for jobs too. They're getting interviews for jobs too. I need somebody to stay at home. To stay. Cliff's back for another year. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to keep Cliff back, but Cliff has the luxury of still getting head coaching checks from Arizona for a couple years. That, and he gets to coach the youngest, hottest, ascending young quarterback in the entire NFL. Those are incentives to stay. Don't go take one of these nasty ass jobs like the New Orleans Saints. Let Kellen Moore, shark face ass, have that job. Stay at home. Put out another year with Jayden Daniels. I think year 2 is going to be an MVP type campaign. And wait till something deserving of your presence opens up, Cliff, because Cliff, that's my boy. That's my boy. I wouldn't wish that New Orleans job on him. A team with fledgling salary cap situation every year, a bunch of old, expensive ass roster components. No. Cliff, you deserve better than that. I'm glad that these guys are being sought out. That means we're doing something right here. I'm also glad that as of this moment, we've only lost a linebacker coach, because everybody's getting a sniff and everybody's getting a look. Now, we're talking 6, 7 guys in one coaching staff being interviewed for promotions after one season of being together. It's like something you don't see happen in this league. We remember what happened with the Eagles. They made a Super Bowl appearance 3 years ago, and Steichen and Gannon, their offensive and defensive coordinators, both took head coaching jobs. And neither has necessarily succeeded in those jobs since taking them, but it affected the Eagles. The next season, they had a meltdown. They retooled their coaching staff, brought in Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, and here we go. They're back in the Super Bowl this year. Coaches do matter. Even if the roster is top 2 in the league, the people directing them and putting them in the right places still matter. Hashtag coaching matters. We always talk about it here. So we got to see what Dan Quinn and Adam Peters have planned for the future when some of these guys walk out the door with promotions. I'm assuming the guy you're looking at, Brian Johnson, unless he accepts the offensive coordinator role in Houston, is the backup plan. He has the assistant head coaching title. He's called plays before. While it didn't work out, that was with Jalen Hurts and company. This is with Jaden over here. I'm not going to hold people to that same standard when you're coaching this guy, coaching a special ass quarterback like Jayden Daniels. I imagine Brian Johnson, then Tavita Pritchard, then David Blau would be the pivots if we lose Cliff Kingsbury after the 2025 season. But I think, to be perfectly honest, we don't have to worry about that right now. We could cross that bridge when we get there. We get another full season of the Cliff and Jaden show, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time, and we're going to get right back to business. Year 2, the game's going to be slowed down for 5 a little bit, and we're going to get active. We're going to get active, and we got to start looking at which free agents on this roster we want to keep, which ones we want to let walk, let go test free agency, let soar. You know, sometimes when you love something, you got to let it go. We can't sign everybody. We cannot sign everybody. This is a fact. And I'm going to do a video, maybe a stream. Let me know in the comments. Maybe do a little stream starting back on Monday. We can do a stream about which players I think we should keep, which players I think we should let go. And we can go from there. But this video right here was just to touch on the coaching staff and how I hope everybody is on board for one more year, because we can't lose the guy and then all of the pivot options as well. You know, I think nobody deserves to lose their job after year 1. I've seen a lot of fans in my chats in the comments saying fire Joe Witt Jr. after year 1. I think that's Daniel Snyder brain speaking out loud. You don't fire a defensive coordinator that with limited assets turned your team into a middle of the pack defense a year after they were the second worst in the league. So bottom 2 defense to middle of the pack defense. You don't fire a coach for that. I honestly think that's objectively fucking stupid, but to each their own. But I want to see Witt a year later with some more pieces on the defensive side, with some more speed on the defensive side. Yes, the scheme was an issue at times. It was year one. He don't got no Jaden Daniels on the defensive side of the ball. Cliff Kingsbury has one of the best things in the league working on his side of the ball. We do not have a superstar on defense. We don't have a transcendent piece, a centerpiece, whatever you want to call it, a pièce de résistance, whatever you want to call it. We don't have one of those on the defensive side of the ball. Let us get one of those and add some more talent before we throw the book at Joe Witt Jr. Because, come on, what are we talking about? Like, what are we really talking about? He got a couple weeks of Marshawn Lattimore, who never truly got his legs back under him in the 2024 season. We've moved Mikey Sanders still around to 1,000 places, just trying to see where he fits in. And he ended up having a good season. We don't have a true free safety on the roster. Our linebackers are good, but one of them is 100 years old and athletically limited at this point. Our two defensive tackles that we pay $50 million a year in tandem, one of them was hurt for most of the year, and the other one only produces once a month. And our edge rushers, we got the best we're going to get out of Dante Fowler Jr. on one side and Dorrance Armstrong on the other side. There are not legit, bona fide, blue chip Spurs on this field that played a 17-game season for this defense. So I'm shooting Joe Witt Jr. some bail. You can have skepticism all you want to. I don't think it's an objectively fair critique to want Joe Witt out of his job after 1 year of disgusting defense turning into middle of the pack defense. And someone's going to say, but Rio, they scored 55 points off of turnovers in the NFC Championship. I'm aware. And 28 of them bitches came off of turnovers. Turnovers. You give a team like Philadelphia the ball in our territory 3 times, you know what they're going to do with it? Just what they did with it. They're going to put that shit in the end zone. And if they get inside the 10, you about to get pushed all the way until pay dirt. So I'm not firing nobody off no game. I'm not firing nobody off no season unless the defense was a catastrophe. It was not that in 2024. It was opportunistic. It had its moments, and it is significantly upgraded than the season before. A historically great defense, a historically bad defense turned into a very average defense. And for that, that is ascension. We're not firing nobody after 1 season of work. You know, he didn't get a head coaching interview as a Rooney Rule interview. The Jets were actually interested in his services. They ended up going with Aaron Glenn, but Joe Witt Jr. is going to be a head coach in this league one day. So I need everybody to wake the fuck up and relax when it comes to Joe Witt Jr., bro. He got a bunch of me's running around this defense right now, and we're expecting this shit to look like the 85 Bears in 1 season. I love the staff we've assembled on both sides of the ball. Let's get busy in 2025, but no coaches are going anywhere as far as firings. Like, that is not happening. That is not the culture that Adam Peters nor Dan Quinn are about to be holding. Yes, people will be held to the fire and held accountable, but firing someone for making the defense better, that's some fan fodder bullshit. And I want people to wake up and smell the roses when it comes to Joe Witt Jr. We do need to see better in 2025 and beyond. And to see better, it's going to start with how we put this thing together. You know, Lance Newmark, our assistant GM, he's here. He interviewed for some jobs, and we got a fake report from a fake aggregate Twitter account that he took a job to be the Jets GM. Didn't happen. I told y'all, when it comes to news being broken, you wait till one of the main insiders, Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Mike Garafolo, wait for one of them to break the news before you take something as gospel, because these fake ass Twitter blue users and aggregate accounts that are just trying to drive engagement, they are trying to troll. They are trying to make you say something. They're trying to drive as much engagement as possible. It's not real. Lance Newmark is here to stay. Him and Adam Peter. So we pretty much have two general managers at this point. Still, for another season, we still got our two general manager run, and we got to build something with that. Washington picks 29th in the upcoming draft. First mock draft of the season will be coming Monday on the channel. Mock draft 1.0. Yes, it's that time. It's Super Bowl week, and it's that time. Mock draft 1.0. I'm going to be getting my boy Josh on the channel. He was out in Mobile all week talking to me about some of the guys Washington could be interested in from Senior Bowl, some risers, some fallers, and stuff like that. And I'm going to pick a couple hours each day during the week to go live, and we could do it radio style, and we can shoot shit off the wall and put together some mock off seasons, all of the above going forward. The show doesn't stop. The shit keeps going. Even when the season's over, a new season begins. And off season is that fun time of year where we're not humbled by Sundays. And Washington is going into an off season as a good football team for the first time in my life, a legit good football team. What is the encore? What is the sequel? What is the round two going to be like? It starts by our coaching staff is coming back. Despite all the attention, all the promotions that were on the table, we're waiting to hear from a couple to see if we're going to lose some of our offensive assistants. But as of now, on February 1st, everything's still intact, minus one linebackers coach. All of that is subject to change if Brian Johnson takes the Houston Texans offensive coordinator job that I'm not sure has been filled yet. The Jags, I'm not sure if they hired their OC yet, but Tavita Pritchard interviewed for that. But if any of information comes out about any of these guys and their job posting going forward, I will be on it immediately. I'll be on it immediately to break the news to y'all. You know how we do. We hit the live button and we talk about it as a family. Thank you for all your support in the 2024 season. Let's go even higher in 2025. And let's put together a roster. It's time to build a bully around 5. It's time to build a formidable beast around our young, best in conference, top 5, best young ascending quarterback in the NFL, Jayden Daniels. When you have one of those, especially on a rookie contract, you have money to spend and a full litany of draft picks, you can't waste it. You cannot waste it. You have to build a foundation in an ecosystem that the quarterback does not need to be Superman to thrive. But I think we're going to get Superman regardless, so we might as well give him some weaponry. Let's build the Justice League around him at this point. Come on, AP, DQ, and Josh Harris. Let's get back to business, man. That's all I got right now. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out.